Hi, I'm Mrs. Fleming, and I'm the Title I Reading Specialist from Benford Middle School. I'll be with you this week as we explore our new concept in week 9 of RPS at home. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you so that we can begin our lesson. So this week, we're going to be drawing conclusions and making inferences. We're going to be using nonfiction text when we look at conclusions and inferences, which is a little bit different from drawing conclusions and making inferences in fiction text. So our learning target this week is that I can draw conclusions and make inferences based on explicit and implied information. Our overview for the week is laid out there for you, and you can see that on Monday we're going to have an overview of what conclusions and inferences are. And then on Friday we're going to practice some writing. Throughout the week we're going to practice each individual skill before putting them both together on Thursday. Our learning target for today is that I can define conclusions and inferences and explain how they are different. So why would readers draw conclusions and make inferences? Well, drawing conclusions can help readers interpret the text. Think about drawing conclusions like putting a puzzle together. You have to take pieces of the puzzle and individual pieces to put them together to make sense of an entire picture. In reading, you have to do the same thing. You have to take pieces of the reading and put it together in order to make sense of an entire piece. Inferences are something that we do on a daily basis, but we don't think very much about it when we're doing it. When we do it in the text, it can become a little bit difficult. But inferences are made from the text that is not directly stated, and it helps bring a deeper understanding of the text. As I said, it is harder, but it is something that you are capable of doing on a daily basis. Once we start thinking about it differently, I think you'll find that it's a lot easier. Before we get started and watch some videos about drawing conclusions and making inferences, I want to review some key vocabulary. So the first thing is that a conclusion is when I take information from multiple pieces of the text to come up with a new idea. Inferences is a little different. That also comes up with a new idea, except instead of just the text, I take the text and my own background experiences to help me create a new idea. Explicit information is something that's directly stated in the text, and I can go back to the text and look to see what the author said about an issue in order to find out what the author thought about it. When I think about something that's implicit or implied, it means that it's not directly stated and that it's more hinted at, although that this isn't always the case. What I would like you to do now is pause the lesson to watch the short video about drawing conclusions. Once you're finished watching the video, come back here so that we can continue. So, when we think about conclusions, I want you to think about conclusions like a math problem, like 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. And as you can see from my diagram, it looks very similar. So if I take one detail from the text, plus another detail from the text, plus another detail from the text, it tells me something new about an idea from the text. And that is called drawing a conclusion. When we practice this, we're actually going to look for multiple places in the text that tells us new ideas or new information. Now I would like you to pause the lesson to watch a short video about making inferences. So when we think about inferences, instead of thinking about a math problem, I want you to think about a rhyme. I read, I know, and so. So when we think about inferences, we have to read what is actually said directly in the text. And then I have to put together something that I actually know about it in my mind and in my experience. And so this leads to a new idea that isn't directly stated in the text. As I mentioned, inferences are a little harder, but I think that if you use this rhyme, you'll find that it's much easier to do. So, how are inferences and conclusions similar or different? You can see that they have the equal sign over on the left-hand side of the screen. That means that those are how they're the same. And then on the right hand of the screen, I have an equal sign with a little slash through it. That means how they are different. I want you to take a second and think about how conclusions are similar and different. So they're both use the text, and both require looking in different places of the text. When making inferences, inferences are different from conclusions because I have to use my own experiences and background in order to make an inference. Drawing conclusions only comes directly from the text, and I'm not inserted in that process at all. Great work. I'll see you tomorrow, and then we'll practice drawing conclusions while we watch a short video. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.